Hi, welcome to this short introduction about entrepreneurial researchers. This course is part of the European-funded project DocEnhance, where a consortium of research institutions, NGOs and consulting companies join forces to define how to meet the skills demand for PhD holders and to design a curriculum to help graduate candidates fill in the skill gap. My name is Masia, and I will give you a brief overview about the importance of being entrepreneurial and of the competencies you need to develop. Currently, I work at the interface between research, innovation and management. Until a few years ago, I used to be a university professor of theoretical chemistry in Italy. After many years of experience in research and higher education, I decided it was time to move on and make a bold career change. Therefore, I enrolled in a Master's of Business Administration and started my own companies. The first one, as it often happens, went bust after a few years. The second seems to be sounder and business seems to be going well. In parallel to managing my own businesses, I manage an international not-for-profit organization as executive coordinator. Previously, I was a board member of a large international organization. All these experiences, together with my MBA studies, allowed me to develop managerial skills. With my company, I work in close contact with research organizations and startups. I help them understand how innovation works, how to make strategic decisions, how to define their financial sustainability, and how to raise funds. I have also started a platform, Enilo, to educate researchers on basics of entrepreneurship. The name of the company derives from Latin writer Lucretius. In the first book of the Rerum Natura, he writes nulla rem e nihilo cigni, which means that nothing's brought forth out of naught. Nothing is generated from nothing. This concept that goes very well together with what last century the economist Joseph Schumpeter said about entrepreneurship. It is something that revolutionizes the economic structure from within, destroying the old one and creating a new one. The main message here is that you always build on top of something. This is true for innovations as well as for life projects. This short introduction is divided into 3 modules. In the first one, I will explain why you need to develop entrepreneurial competencies. Then, I will show a couple of examples of entrepreneurial researchers and introduce the concept of value creation. Finally, I will introduce a reference framework developed by the Joint Research Center of the European Commission called EntreComp. Being entrepreneurial entails having a mindset, a way of seeing and doing things that can be used for starting a business, but also for managing any of your life projects, your next career move, for example. So it's very important that you see this presentation not only oriented to found the next business or to start a not-for-profit organization, but rather to understand what the main elements that will make you entrepreneurial are. These competencies will allow you to navigate a world that is ever-changing. So to understand why it is important to be entrepreneurial, let's have a look at what has happened in the world for the last few years. And let's imagine what the future might be based on our observation of the past. Work is an important element of our life. Like it or not, it affects many of our life choices and our lifestyles. Eventually, it affects society at large. So I will consider work here. If we observe work, we notice that it is about to change forever. In fact, change has already begun. It started with automation and manufacturing, then big data, and now artificial intelligence. A group at University College London has found that the best AI judge is as good as a human. In 79% of cases, it agrees with experienced judges. We also have self-driving cars. They are now capable of driving with no accidents and problems from New York to Los Angeles. And finally, we have big data cloud. Data and the amount of data is so huge that machines using artificial intelligence can learn very quickly. According to IBM, every day we store 2.5 quintillion bytes of new data. If you don't know what a 2.5 quintillion bytes is, have a look at this number. It's 2.5 billion of billions. Even more appalling is the notion that half of the data produced by humankind so far has been created in the last 2 years alone. In the past, the pace of innovation was slower. As it grows exponentially, we witness an ever quicker pace. The diffusion of COVID-19 has clearly taught us what exponential growth means. Try to picture a similar growth for innovation based on the technological advances you have witnessed for the last 20 years. But besides technology, we see that other factors cause the world to change rapidly. The climate is shifting. The population, mostly in Europe, is aging. So it's not only about technology, it's about everything around us. Society is changing, the environment is changing, the whole world around us is changing. So taking this into consideration, can you imagine what the world will be like a decade from now? Of course, we don't have the crystal ball, so predicting the future is not possible. But at least considering the trends I outlined before, we know that will certainly have an impact on our society. And one thing is for sure, we can't live and work the way we do today. It's been predicted, for example, that 2 out of 3 children starting primary school now will have jobs that don't exist today. To quote Thomas Friedman, our kids will have to invent a job. New jobs are likely to break down existing boundaries. What we do will change. How we do it will change even more. Half of Americans will be self-employed by the next year, and Europeans will follow a similar fate in a few years. We found ourselves in a situation where technological, environmental, and social change are picking up, but human capacity struggles to keep up. In a world that never stops changing and that changes so quickly, the only way to keep up is adaptation and never stop learning. Technology can replace physical and mental work, sure. We cannot sit back while changing happens, though. To shape our future and the future of society, we have to develop certain transformative competencies. These are defined as the ability to create new value, reconcile tensions and dilemmas, and take responsibility for our own actions. To strive, we need to develop unique human abilities that will help us being a step ahead of technology. When I talk about future, of course, I don't talk about a galaxy far, far away. I talk about tomorrow. I, and you more than me, are the first generation of workers who will end up doing jobs different what we have studied for. What will count is not our knowledge anymore, it is our plasticity and ability to think creatively and critically, to work and empathize with others. Overall, all these competencies are the entrepreneurial competencies. That's why being entrepreneurial is important. It helps us to face change and thrive in the future. In the next 2 videos, we will talk more in details about the entrepreneurial competencies. Finally, if you find these and the next videos interesting, feel free to follow me on Twitter and/or LinkedIn, or to contact me by email. I have also created a LinkedIn group of entrepreneurial researchers. You are more than welcome to join.